In the quiet village of Uli, there was a girl named Uche. She was known for being kind and curious, always asking questions about the world around her. Uche lived with her grandmother, Neka, in a small mud house near the river. The river was important to the village. It gave them water, fish, and a place to wash clothes. But there was something strange about the river, something that only Uche seemed to notice. One night, while Uche was lying in bed, she heard a soft voice calling her name. It was so faint that she thought she might be dreaming. But when she listened closely, she realized the voice was coming from the river. Was frightened, but also curious. She had heard stories of spirits living in the river, but she had never believed them. Now, it seemed that the stories might be true. The next morning, Uche told her grandmother about the voice. Neka looked worried and told Uche to stay away from the river. The river is not what it seems, Neka warned. It holds secrets that are better left alone. But Uche couldn't stop thinking about the voice. Why was it calling her? What did it want? That evening, Uche went to the river alone. As she sat by the water's edge, the voice came again, clearer this time. "Uche, come closer," it whispered. Uche's heart raced, but she felt a strange pull, as if the river was drawing her in. She dipped her hand into the water, and suddenly the world around her changed. Uche found herself in an underwater city, with glowing lights and strange creatures swimming around. The city was beautiful but eerie, and Uche felt both amazed and scared. A figure appeared before her, a tall woman with shimmering scales and deep, sad eyes. "I am Miri, the guardian of this river," the woman said. "I have been waiting for you, Uche." Uche was speechless. She had heard of Miri in the village stories, but she never thought she would meet her. "Why are you waiting for me?" Uche finally asked. Miri sighed, and the water around them rippled with her sadness. "Many years ago, a terrible curse was placed on this river. The people of your village have forgotten the old ways, and the river's spirit has been trapped, unable to flow freely. If the curse is not lifted, the river will dry up, and your village will suffer." Uche felt a knot in her stomach. She couldn't imagine her village without the river. "How can I help?" she asked. Miri's eyes brightened. "There is a way to break the curse, but it is dangerous. You must find the 3 sacred stones hidden in the forest. Each stone is guarded by a spirit, and they will test your courage, wisdom, and kindness. Only when you bring all 3 stones back to the river will the curse be lifted." Uche nodded, determined to save her village. "I'll do it," she said, though she was scared. The next morning, Uche set out for the forest. As she walked, the trees seemed to whisper around her, their leaves rustling like voices. The forest was dark and thick, with vines and roots tangling her feet. She had never gone so deep into the woods before, and every shadow seemed to hide something dangerous. Suddenly, Uche came across the first spirit, a large, fierce lion with glowing eyes. The lion growled, blocking her path. "Who are you to enter my domain?" it roared. Uche trembled, but stood her ground. "I am Uche, and I seek the sacred stone to save my village," she replied, her voice steady despite her fear. The lion studied her for a moment before nodding. "You are brave, little one, but bravery alone is not enough. To earn the stone, you must face your greatest fear." The lion then revealed a dark cave filled with eerie noises. Uche's heart pounded. She was terrified of the dark, but she knew she had to enter. Taking a deep breath, Uche stepped into the cave. It was pitch black, and the sounds of bats flapping and strange whispers echoed around her. Her fear grew with each step, but she kept going. At the cave's end, she found a glowing stone, and when she touched it, the cave lit up, revealing that the scary noises were just harmless bats. Uche smiled, realizing her fear had made things seem worse than they were. The lion greeted her outside the cave, bowing its head. "You have passed the test of courage," it said, handing her the first stone. Uche thanked the lion and continued her journey, feeling a little stronger. As she ventured deeper into the forest, Uche came to a clear, peaceful pond. A beautiful fish with golden scales leapt out of the water, transforming into the second spirit. "I am the guardian of wisdom," the fish said. "To earn the second stone, you must answer my riddle." Uche nodded, ready for the challenge. The fish smiled and asked, "What walks on 4 legs in the morning, 2 legs at noon, and 3 legs in the evening?" Uche thought hard. She had heard this riddle before. Finally, she remembered the answer. "A person," she said. "As a baby, they crawl on 4 legs. As an adult, they walk on 2 legs, and as an old person, they use a stick, so 3 legs. The fish clapped its fins, pleased. You are wise, Uche. Here is the 2nd stone, it said, handing it to her before diving back into the pond. Uche thanked the fish and continued, now with 2 stones in her hand. She felt a little more confident, but she knew the hardest test was yet to come. The final spirit was a gentle breeze that led Uche to a field of flowers. A small bird with bright feathers flew down, landing softly on her shoulder. I am the spirit of kindness, the bird chirped. To earn the 3rd stone, you must show kindness even when it is difficult. Just then, a cold wind blew, and the flowers began to wilt. A thorny vine grew out of the ground, wrapping around the bird and squeezing tightly. The bird cried out in pain, and Uche's heart ached for it. Without hesitation, she rushed to help, pulling at the vine despite the thorns pricking her hands. As Uche freed the bird, the vine dissolved, and the flowers bloomed again. The bird sang a joyful song and flew up, dropping the 3rd stone into Uche's hand. You have shown true kindness, Uche, it said, before disappearing into the sky. Uche now had all 3 stones. Her hands were scratched and bleeding, but she didn't care. She had completed the task, and the river's curse could be broken. She hurried back to the river, where Miri was waiting. You have done well, Uche, Miri said with a proud smile. Place the stones in the water, and the river will be free. Uche gently placed the stones in the river. As soon as they touched the water, a bright light burst from the riverbed, and the water began to flow faster and clearer than before. The curse was lifted, and the village would be safe. But as the light faded, Uche noticed something strange. Miri was growing fainter, her body slowly disappearing. What's happening? Uche cried, worried for the river guardian. Miri smiled sadly. My time has come, Uche. The curse kept me bound here, but now I can return to my true home. Thank you for freeing me. Tears filled Uche's eyes as she watched Miri fade away completely, leaving only the peaceful river behind. Though she was sad, Uche knew she had done the right thing. The river was free, the village was safe, and Miri was at peace. From that day on, Uche was known as the hero of Uli, the girl who saved the river and her village. But Uche didn't need the praise. She was just happy to see the river flowing again, whispering softly as it always had. And every time she heard the river's whisper, she smiled, knowing that Miri was finally free.